Well, guys, we must eradicate the LGBT agenda from our schools. When your kids go to school, especially early on, kindergarten, first, second, third grade, man, that's definitely supposed to be educated on the basics. Reading, writing, doing math, that kind of thing, some history. But the public school system is not public anymore. It is government run, and it has actually failed. These local school boards, man, they're indoctrinating children. They're pushing the alphabet agenda on your kids. They're trying to turn your children into sexual deviants. It's been going on way too long, folks. I believe that you shouldn't have any pride flags in any of these schools. The only flags that should actually be flying in the classroom at the school is the U.S. flag and your state flag. That's it. The alphabet flag is immoral. It needs to go. Now, parents in Maryland, man, they have been furious because they found out a despicable book was actually in their kids' classrooms. And now this is actually before the Supreme Court. And boy, we got a wild exchange here between Neil Gorsuch and this Maryland school district lawyer right here. Folks, this book was full of filth. It was. We're talking about like drag queens and I guess you could say bondage. Yeah. Why is this in a book for children? Now, the name of the book is Pride Puppy. And it has like rainbow stuff all over the cover. That tells you everything you need to know. This book should have never been brought in front of children. But you see, folks, they use these books to indoctrinate your children, to confuse them, to turn them into sexual deviants. So let's go ahead, guys, and get into this right over here. Fox News. Gorsuch and Maryland school district lawyer have wild exchange over children's LGBTQ storybook. Not bondage. Folks, there should be no children's books that are LGBTQ thing. None whatsoever. I mean, none of this stuff actually helps the kid in any way. It just indoctrinates them. I mean, this is just crazy, man. It says here, the lawyer for a Maryland school district and U.S. Supreme Court Justice Neil Gorsuch had a wild exchange this week about a children's book amid an ongoing case brought by parents who want to be able to opt their children out of reading LGBTQ storybooks in their public school. No kid should be reading any of these books. Any sexual thing books should not be in a classroom. This is really wild, man. Now, look here. It says the rhyming alphabet book, which was described as affirming and inclusive by its publisher, allows readers to spot items starting with each of the letters of the alphabet while offering a quote unquote, a joyful glimpse of a pride parade and a vibrant community that celebrates this day each year. Yeah. The book was previously used in the district's pre-kindergarten curriculum. Wow. Pre-K. Folks, we got a clip here we need to listen to of this exchange between Neil Gorsuch and this lawyer, man. This filth was in a pre-K class. Listen in.
Mrs. Gorsuch?
I just want to make sure I understand a few fact things and then a law question. What age do you, in Montgomery County, teach students normally about human sexuality?
I think that it begins in either 4th or 5th grade.
a human sexuality class.
The Family Life and Human Sexuality curriculum.
Okay.
I'm not entirely sure.
Starts in 4th or 5th grade, you think?
So.
Okay. 4th or 5th grade. I believe parents should actually be doing that. Teaching kids about sexuality, not the schools.
Is there anything you can point us to in the record on that?
I don't think so.
Okay. And second, these books are being used in English class.
The division between English class and other things in a second grade classroom doesn't really exist. You're sort of in a room with a teacher and sometimes
No, I
learning.
appreciate that. I went to second grade too.
Yeah.
But it's part of the English curriculum that these books are being used in. I thought that was.
Yeah, I'm not fighting the premise. I'm just saying that
It's not the
line-
math class.
It is not.
It's not the human sexuality class.
It is
the
certainly
English
not
class.
the human sexuality class. I'm just sort of fighting the premise that there's a neat distinction.
Okay, and they're being used in English language instruction at age 3.
Wow. What does this have to do with the English language, folks? Absolutely nothing.
Some of them.
So Pride Puppy was the book that was used for the pre-kindergarten curriculum. That's no longer in the curriculum.
That's the one where they are supposed to look for the leather and things and bondage, things like that.
It's not bondage. It's a woman in a leather.
Sex worker, right?
No, that's not correct. No.
I read it.
It's a drag queen. And
Drag
So-
queen and drag
Correct.
queen.
The leather that they're pointing to is a woman in a leather jacket, and one of the words is drag queen in the search.
And they're supposed to look for those.
It is an option at the end of the book, correct?
Yeah.
Wow. They're supposed to look for it. AKA, I'm assuming this is like a drag queen dominatrix. Pre-K, folks. Pre-K.
Okay. And you've included these in the English language curriculum rather than the human sexuality curriculum to influence students. Is that fair? That's what the district court found.
Yep.
Do you agree
I
with
think
that?
to the extent the district court found that it was to influence them towards civility. The natural consequence of being exposed
Whatever, but to influence them.
in the manner that I just mentioned, yes.
Okay. And responding to parents who are concerned, do you agree that there was some intemperate language used?
I don't know that those were responding to parents who were concerned. This was after the fact for most of these comments. And this was in a very public setting, which obviously got heated, and some intemperate comments were used, certainly.
Yeah. And I wanted to understand your context that you were giving about the statement that some Muslim families, it's unfortunate that this issue puts some Muslim families on the same side of an issue as white supremacists and outright bigots. I think in response to Justice Sotomayor, you were trying to give some context to that?
I don't think I was speaking directly about that comment. I think that comment was given or was made in June, which was several months after the decision to withdraw the opt-outs was made. I don't have context for that statement, no.
Okay. And then the legal question. Why isn't discrimination against religion a burden on religion? If a state, now this is hypothetical, not moving away from the record, if state actors intentionally discriminate against religion, what secular purpose, valid secular purpose could that serve? And how wouldn't that be a burden?
So I don't know, I mean, it depends on the hypothetical, what the state is doing and whether there's a secular purpose. That's hard to imagine one. But if the state is discriminating
Against Muslims or Catholics or Protestants or whatever.
I think this court has recognized that when an enactment that discriminates on its face, or has recognized with respect to an enactment that discriminates on its face, it is intrinsically coercive. That's how the court has performed the burden inquiry. If you are privileging one religion over another, you are coercing people to subscribe to that particular set of beliefs in order
So
to
that's
get...
a burden.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, thank you.
You know what, guys? I truly do believe that these woke school districts, man, they know that the Muslim families aren't going for this. They're trying to do this to the Christian families because Christianity is under attack. Folks, you should be learning about human sexuality in school in the 4th grade. I mean, your parents should actually be teaching you about all that and the moral values you actually get from your church, unless your church is woke. You know, this is disturbing, folks. In pre-K, when I was in pre-K, kindergarten, elementary, None of this stuff existed, folks. This stuff is being done on purpose to destroy our future, to turn these kids into activists, man. They already can't read. I mean, have you guys heard about the school system in Baltimore? Almost no kid can read. That's how bad it is. But they can probably recite LGBTQ propaganda. Folks, some people should actually be in prison for this. Some people should actually go to prison for this. Someone needs to be held accountable for this. I'm absolutely astonished, folks. I'm really, really astonished. This stuff was in a classroom, and Maryland is a blue state, and these parents like, don't teach my kids that. But you know what? Probably unconsciously, some of these parents probably voted for it. They vote for these Democrats, and these Democrats are pushing this stuff on your kids. This is sickening, man. These people should be in prison. That's just my thoughts on this. What do you guys think of this? Black and White Network fans, let us know what you think about all this in the comments. Make sure to subscribe to the channel, and we'll catch you next time.